Hello and welcome to another GTBS demo. This demo is will walk you through the engine settings for the GTBS system and how to configure those, what exactly they do, and so on. Let's go ahead and just get started. First off is the font. The font defined here is going to automatically be assigned as the default font for all bitmaps throughout the entire game. So if you've got another part of the game that actually requires them be other, then you may need to update that accordingly. Otherwise, this here just is set the default font name that will apply to here and all the way throughout. The next thing here is screen size. Because GTBS VX and XP both support different variations as far as the screen size, here you can actually enter in those screen sizes. Now if you use a screen resolution script in order to adjust those, then you can enter that here and have GTBS adjust accordingly. Now the one thing is though is that because the screen resolution scripts in most cases actually modify the render method for the tile sets. You may need to also update the tile set class here inside of GTBS to make sure that it actually has a larger viewing window and so on. Aside from that, the next section here is the battle test information. The battle test is when you actually initiate a battle test from the database. If this is set to true, it'll launch a TBS battle, versus if it's set to false, then obviously it'll launch your default battle system. And then, of course, here is which map it should play on when battle testing. So if you want to do your testing there, you just go and set those values and you should be good to go. One of the new features to 1.5 is that I've extracted a bunch of these methods out that will allow you to set the text for the battle start, congratulations, battle complete, item gain, and thinking text from outside of the game. This allows you to customize this to alternate languages and so on. Next, excuse me. Next here is the unknown text information. This is specifically when you have a character where you've set up the hide information on, whether or not it's an actor and or a enemy. This is the text that will display on their HP and or MP bars as far as their HP or MP value. Next here is the pop damage text. Because again I support multi-language methods, this here allows you to just simply replace these particular text with your desired text. Force move then act is the when you take your turn and after you've performed an action, then if this is set to true, then it will force you to automatically, if you haven't yet moved, then it would actually negate your ability to move. This is a new feature to 1.5. Basically, there's a couple of people that preferred it, that if you moved and you performed an action, or even if you didn't move and you performed an action, that your move was negated. So that's an option to you. Face enemy on battle begin. This here is as soon as you start the battle, all of your actors, instead of just facing down, will then face the closest enemy. Now it's not just the closest enemy, it's actually the first enemy and or the first actor. So if you've got them all the way around the map, then they're just going to they're going to look at the first one rather than the closest. So Act list, this is a new feature to 1.5. It's only available in ATB mode that allows you to simply get in here and see what order actions are going to be performed in and who's going to go. It also includes the testing for weight skills and so on in order to see who's going to perform an action. The next part here is the victory events, the common event to be executed on a victory. So just go ahead and set the ID of the common event that you should be executing when that should happen, and then the fail event. And let's see, down here we've got the attack allies. This here just allows you to hit your own team if you so choose. And then team through allows you to pass through during movement through your existing team members. Pop damage individually is each time a actor is damaged, it pops up their damage that was inflicted upon them. If there's more than one, if this is set to false, then they all pop at the exact same time essentially, and if not, then they pop individually, as in it will wait for one pop to complete before jumping to the next person. The next item here is the Show Item Gold Immediately. This is a new feature to 1.5. This feature basically allows you to gain any items that are dropped by a particular enemy and or gold immediately after their death using the exact same routine that you have at the end of battle. The next item here is Remove Dead. This is a feature that's been around for a long time, but I've reworked it for 1.5. The features here is simply that if it's set to 0, then everyone is going to remain on the map and downsets will be used. 1 is actors will stay, but enemies will go, and then 2 is everyone has to be removed from the map. So just go and set that accordingly. Next here is wait skills and allow skill target. These options here are both used as part of the ATB system. If the use wait skills is set to false, then the allow skill target is essentially negated. The point of this one here is that it allows you to cast a skill and then a few moments later then it will go ahead and perform. This allows it to provide a little bit more tactics in the fact that you can cast a skill on an empty tile and then expect that an enemy unit can possibly move into that tile, or vice versa. You can cast it on an individual target using this option, and then it will follow that target even though you may move away and it may be outside of your initial range. Scroll speed, it's pretty obvious. Just go ahead and adjust the value. The higher you go, I've seen a couple of problems with that, so we're just going to go ahead and adjust those volumes to whatever you'd like. The attack confirmations here, this is going to go through and ask you, are you sure you want to do this upon the move, attack, or wait options. Of course, you can go ahead and change those values if you want. Traditionally, I've always left it move confirm as true. Everything else is go ahead and be false. Attackable area. So this is when you move. Immediately after moving, it's going to show you what area that you have available to move for you, as well as spell area. Control opacity is just simply the opacity of the controls, the windows that are displayed, the HUD during the battle. Dim opacity is the opacity of actors that are placed on the map. And the miss animation is the animation to be played if a miss is performed. A summon animation is simply when a summon is brought to the map, what animation ID should be played. Hide cursor position information, again self-explanatory. Your level gain options, the music file to be played, whether or not everyone in the party should receive experience, whether or not you should receive experience by hit, whether or not it should pop that experience, and whether or not neutrals should receive experience. And then also whether or not you should receive experience even though you miss. Okay, phase music, this is part of 1.4, I believe, when I added this. Basically, if this is set to true, then it will go ahead and load up a default battle music according to what version of the program you are. But you can also specify it per actor. So here you can get in here and say for actor number 1, then it should play this particular music, versus enemy number 1, it can play individual musics per the individual actor and or enemy. Preview damage is just the damage indicator showing you exactly how much you're going to perform. It's not always correct, but it's usually in the general ballpark. State IDs, you have to make sure that these line up with your database in the States tab, otherwise you could experience some problems in these special states and how they apply and how the GTBS uses those. Additional elements, these here are items that must be set in order for flying and or walk on water to be set for enemies and or actors when you initially start a battle. Bow L shapes is instead of just direct line of sight, it will allow you to hit areas in between that as well. And then hide inactive menu icons is simply allows you to go ahead and it automatically shrinks your commands window. And then speaking of the commands window, here you can actually get in here and replace the actual names for move and so on with your alternatives. So if this is a third-party language, then you can easily change these here to that. And then you'll have to add them to this array down here in order for them to be recognized back into the standard methods for later. And then force wait is basically to go ahead and force you into the wait phase. Enable move on start is automatically when you choose your actor, it automatically enables your move state. Reduce AT is a new feature to the ATB. It's going to reduce the AT of a particular inflicted person by that percent. Move variable, just don't use it. And your new counter options, you've got your encounter moving method, doom on summons. This here is your manual doom times, chain lightning, and that's pretty much it. So hopefully that gives you a good explanation, and we'll catch you guys later.